Hello, Cancerman COINTELPRO. I'm doing a response to Dark Zodiac. It's not a rebuttal, just a response on the video he had on his page about Tesla, Dean, talking about the shotgun that he had, and asked me if I could identify it. And I can. Apparently, they were trying to read the model numbers off of it because what they had done is, in their infinite wisdom, in their attempt to file the serial numbers off of this weapon, what they had actually done was they had filed a portion of the model number off of it. It was, in fact, an EAA, which stands for European American Armory, model 489500. It is a single-shot 12-gauge breakdown. Okay. They obviously didn't even know what they had. It was in very bad shape. Obviously, they had cut it down, cut the stock off. Did a horrible job, I might add, on cutting the stock. Of course, you couldn't see the barrel very well in the video, but they probably did a sloppy job on that too. And it was in horrible shape, obviously, because you could hear the individual speaking about it, saying that when he broke open the action, the ejector didn't work. That he had to pry the shell out, the empty casing, that he had to pry it out with a flathead screwdriver. All right. There's a thing we like to refer to in the firearms enthusiast world, I guess, community, and that's firearm maintenance. You maintain your weapon. You maintain it, you clean it. If you have broken parts, you replace them. And one of the key reasons for this is obviously you want your firearm to function properly. Plus, it's not very safe to take a weapon out and fire it that has not been properly maintained. It can create issues for you. Like that barrel, for example. If that barrel was not properly cut, you can have issues when discharging that, where the end of the barrel, portions of the end of the barrel may burst open. Or if you have an old Damascus twist steel barrel and you try firing full power loads through it, or try firing slugs through it, yeah, that'll burst your barrel as well. What I've brought out here for you is a modern mil-spec 12-gauge shotgun. This is the Mossberg Model 590A1. It is a mil-spec shotgun. Okay. Notice it has a heat shield to keep you from burning your hands on the barrel when reloading or just when working the action. Okay. It's got a chromed bolt to prevent fouling. It prevents carbon buildup from sticking to the bolt, or makes it more difficult for carbon buildup to stick to the bolt. I've got a Knox recoil reducing stock on it, which reduces recoil up to 60%. Basically, I can fire this thing as fast as you could fire an auto loader. It's all timing, getting that action down. I've got slugs in the side saddle. These are Remington 1 ounce lead slugs, solid slugs. They're rifled slugs, and they are 3-inch magnums. So that's pretty intense. That's a pretty heavy load. I keep those on the side saddle just because it's a specialty load. It's not something you'd fire through it all the time. Being that they are very heavy, and the fireball that comes out the end of this thing when you fire those is impressive, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I love firing this one. And I wanted to show you something else on this. Of course, military-grade firearms, they have to go through a test. They test these weapons to make sure that they function properly under adverse conditions. They fire large quantities of ammunition through them, and I believe it's 3,000 rounds without a malfunction, is without cleaning and without breaking between shots. Basically, fire, reload, till you get to 3,000. And if the weapon still functions properly on 3001, then it passes the test. They may allow for a certain number of malfunctions. I do know that the XM9 pistol trials did allow for some malfunctions, but I wanted to show you this here. This is the M7 bayonet. It's a standard mil-spec bayonet used um, from the Vietnam War all the way up to present times. They've just recently replaced this with the M9 bayonet, which is going to confuse people because the standard military pistol, the Beretta Model 92 FS, is actually known as the nomenclature M9. So that's going to confuse people. I don't know why they didn't choose a different nomenclature, but I wanted to show you this here. Standard mil-spec bayonet on the Mossberg Model 590A1. So it does have a bayonet lug to fit a bayonet. That, of course, does have its own advantages. I myself do not like to use bayonets fixed on weapons, personally. I like to use the bayonet in my hand. This is an excellent weapon for silat and for close quarter combat. However, I'll get into that in a minute. I just wanted to show you that in fact this is in fact a standard military bayonet, and that this is an AR-15. I've got a M16A1 barrel on this and an M16A1 handguard. You can see that it's got the triangular handguards on it, kind of triangular shaped. It has, of course, I got my dust cover closed. All right, I didn't want to make sure that. Of course, I got the A2 style forward assist on this one. I got the A1 style pistol grip with an A2 buttstock. So this is really kind of a Franken gun. I built this exactly the way I want it, but the parts on it are all mil-spec. It has a flat top receiver, if you can see that. Now, I just want to show you that this is in fact a mil-spec bayonet. There it is on the AR-15. Same bayonet. So it is standardized among the different branches of the military. But I just wanted to show you the shotgun just to let you guys know what a good one looks like. Maybe in case Tesla has never seen a decent shotgun, I want to give him an opportunity to take a look at one and to see what it's all about, so that when he wants to come on and threaten people with weapons and things, he can at least have an idea of what's taken seriously and what is not. Regardless, I wanted to talk a little bit about the martial arts skills that they were showing on there. I'm not sure if that was supposed to be Tesla on there beating that guy. It's really hard to say. But the hand-to-hand stuff, you know, it's all great, you know. But karate really doesn't have much of a use as far as total hand-to-hand combat. Combat without rules. Okay? One of the common ways, if you want to just use your hands, if you're in a situation where you have to use your hands, what you want to do is when your attacker is coming up to you, you want to hold your hands out like this. You want to keep them looking at your hands. Maybe wiggle your fingers a little bit. While they're looking at your hands, you come up with your leg to the side and you stroke. You kick in a downward motion with all of your body weight. And you want to bring your foot right to the edge of their knee, right there, on the side. I've personally seen that done. I know how to do it. A friend of mine knows how to do it and told another friend of mine how to do it. And a gentleman attacked him at work and got up in his face, took a swing at him, and this individual used this trick that we had told him about. Even though we told him not to do it, he crippled this man for life. So the knees are definitely a very vulnerable area. The groin is a vulnerable area. The throat is a vulnerable area. You do not have to hit someone very hard in the throat to incapacitate them. All you need to do is cause inflammation in the larynx. The larynx will swell and it will block off their airway. Coming down with your fist or with an open hand right across the collarbone right there does not take very much pressure at all to break that. I believe that it's less than 50 pounds of striking force to break someone's collarbone. You break someone's collarbone, both their arms go limp. They can no longer fight you. So that's going to be the limit of what I'm going to discuss as far as hand-to-hand stuff. A lot of it's kind of self-explanatory, using kinetic energy to transfer, as I showed you with the lighter. The key is not to hit and pull back. The key is to hit and stick. You transfer all of your kinetic energy to the target. Now, as far as non-firearm combat, what I prefer, what I think is the neatest, and the thing that I had the most fun, studying was something that this knife here was designed for. This is the claw. This is designed for silat. Silat is basically close quarters knife fighting. And the thing I like about this knife is you can slash and you can bludgeon with it. If you do not have a concealed weapon permit or a concealed carry permit, you will be arrested for carrying this. You would get the same penalty as you would carrying a firearm. But they're very effective, and I've never used it, of course. I don't plan to. If I was in a situation where I had to use a knife, really, to be honest with you, I would most likely end up using something like this. This is a Smith & Wesson cutting horse. It's designed specifically for silat. And what silat is, if you Google it or if you do any research on it, it's basically close quarter offensive and defensive knife fighting. A lot of it's based on the Apache Indian knife fighting techniques. Basically, every time someone goes to strike at you, as you dodge that strike, you're slicing. So if someone comes at you, you can slice their arm on their way in and then slice their arm on the way out. So they've tried to strike you once, they've missed, but they've gotten 2 cuts. So as they continue to come at you, you basically continue to do that until either they give up or they die. I've got that one. This is under 4 inches, this blade is. And of course you can do stabbing as well. I carry this one. It's not something I've ever needed, of course. And firearms, things like that, I do specialize in weapons. This is a Gerber, not very expensive, not a very expensive knife, but I do like the Tonto blade. This one's a little bit big for carry. You can see how long this blade is compared to this other one. It's a big knife. I carry a lot of these when I go backpacking, or when I'm in an area where there are questionable people. But as far as that, a lot of times when I do go backpacking, if I'm out in the field, I like to use the kukri. I carry the kukri with me all the time when I go backpacking, and the reason for that is when you can carry this, you can use this as a machete. You can use this as a defensive weapon, as a knife, or as a machete. But it's got the weight, and it's got the blade width and weight and strength that you can also use this as a hatchet. I've cut down trees with this. So I just wanted to reiterate that I do know my way around weapons, a wide variety of different weapons, whether it be knives, rifles, handguns, shotguns. I'm familiar with all of it. And I have to say, though, the knife stuff, it's kind of fun to practice with and just look at and study. It's not something that I've actually gotten proficient at, and the reason why is because it's not really necessary. And the reason why, if someone attacks you or decides they want to mug you or something like that, for some reason, when you show people a knife, if you pull a knife on someone, there have actually been studies on this, that knives will actually generate more of an aversive response psychologically than a firearm will. Creepy, huh? Cancer Man COINTELPRO out.